Hongbin is HSBC's chief China economist, having had stints at Bank of China and other Chinese institutions. He joins us now to talk about the yuan and to look ahead to China post-NPC 2010. Hongbin, good morning. Now, China says no to yuan appreciation, rebuffing calls for the currency to be stronger. Instead, he did say he's concerned about the dollar. What signal is Yuan sending to the world?
Well, first of all, I think it appears that the Chinese leaders has feel more confidence about themselves in terms of the making an economic policy, particularly post the crisis. For instance, in terms of the currency policy, the Prime Minister just rebuffed the calls from the U.S. and other countries for China to appreciate the yuan meaningfully in the near term. He said that basically he don't think the yuan is undervalued, even though he said China will continue to reform its exchange rate system. So the message is clear. While China will continue to probably to gradually move away from dollar peg during the course of this year, but the chances for them to have a one-off or meaningful appreciation is pretty small.
Where do you stand on this? A lot of people are saying that the yuan is undervalued by 20%.
Well, I think basically it's the white guys, it's anybody's guess, but there's no kind of it's very difficult for anyone to estimate China's yuan's fair value, particularly under the current capital control policy. So I think basically it's debatable in terms of where the fair value is going to be for the renminbi. So therefore, I think going forward, particularly in the near term, how the renminbi is going to move is more kind of policy decision made by Beijing according to their own self-interesting rather than anything else.
How quickly, though, can China let its currency appreciate?
Well, I think it's not going to be too quick and too fast. In our view, probably during the course of this year, China will start to move away from the dollar peg in kind of more gradual fashion. So probably by the year end, we're talking about something like 4 to 5% at the most. But it's unlikely for us to get any kind of meaningful kind of appreciations than the kind of 5%.
Hongbin, China has said it plans to promote the yuan's usage abroad. I mean, it does sound like a precursor to the yuan becoming a global reserve currency. Yes or no?
Yes, I think China made it clear that that was one of the major strategic long-term plan. But we all know that this is kind of the long-term policy goal. The process is going to be gradual. Having said that, since the middle of last year, China already kickstarted a kind of pilot program, try to promote the renminbi in the kind of the trade settlement. I think this is going to be the first phase for China for China's process of making the yuan international currency.
Let's take a look at the wider economy. Stronger than expected export figures, sparking more concern about overheating, and hence more tightening measures are warranted. Is that your view as well?
Well, indeed, if anything, China this year is facing a risk for a growth overshoot, and therefore the overheating and the inflation pressure. That is why over the weekend, Prime Minister said that he's very concerned about the inflation pressure. And for the first time, the Prime Minister also stressed the political significance of controlling the inflation. And he said that if inflation is not put under control, it coupled with the income inequality as well as the corruption could threaten China's social and even political stability. So the message here is clear. During the course of this year, once it comes to the macroeconomic policy, China clearly wants to strike a balance between the growth and inflation, but China will do whatever it takes in order to control the inflation, which means that in the next couple of months, if we see further signs for the high inflation, definitely China will take a more decisive step towards kind of monetary tightening and as well as the physical tightening.
All right, Hongbin, HSBC on China. Thank you so much for your insight on the trade this morning.